Good morning. It's 8:30 UTC. Just wanted to do a market update, especially now that it looks like Trump is the projected landslide winner of the US election. So fun to see. We're seeing the euphoric pump in Bitcoin and across the board. We're seeing the dollar fly. We're seeing the S&P fly. So the market's reacting very bullishly. Just remember, this is the euphoria pump. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to see massive continuation. It just means that a lot of kind of relief in the market. That being said, one thing I wanted to kind of mention is that we're seeing quite a bit of high, like large size transactions of Bitcoin getting loaded onto exchanges to potentially sell into retail. And we're seeing a pretty strong attempt to push price back down. With some of this larger selling block coming in, but let's go through everything. I'll probably even throw on some extra other market stuff just because there's a lot going on across the board. So first off, looking at the big things, yes, the presidential election in the U.S., it looks to be a landslide. I'm glad, I hope it's called early, and I hope the unrest that follows is going to be minimal. And the big thing now we are looking at is the federal interest rate decision. They are still forecasting a 25 basis point drop reduction with the conference following after that from Powell. I would expect at this moment that that remains the same. There's a slight chance they increase that to 50 basis points. Anything outside of forecasted here is going to be incredibly volatile for the markets. And besides that, the rest of the month looks pretty decent. We've got inflation stuff going on the week after, unemployment, core inflation rate, that type of thing. So we'll see how that pans out. For the time being, it looks just fine. First off, just kind of wanted to focus on the VIX just to show you guys how a massive reduction that we're seeing across the board. This is awesome to see. I don't really show the VIX for these little market updates, but this will be a bit longer. Yeah, amazing. Absolutely love it. We're seeing a huge, after, extended hours trading, that the pre is massively low. We want to see opens that come in all honesty, we want to see sub 15. Anything that starts clearing some of these lows out starts to look really attractive, that we're kind of breaking that squeeze upside trend. We don't want to see regains, and the major resistance we're seeing up here up to 25. We can never get over that if we want to have that, nice continuation rally. Anything that gets over 25, I would say on the VIX is definitely, dumping very, very hard. And the other thing I just want to point out as well, the ES is soaring, absolutely soaring to new highs right now. So new all-time highs, looking attractive. This is all coming on the heels as well with the dollar currency index making glorious runs back up. So I would probably say right now you're seeing a lot of Chinese pressure to push the dollar back down in the Forex market as well. So in general, it looks bullish. It looks awesome. Going over to Bitcoin specifically, yes, we've had a new all-time high created on perpetuals at 75.6. That's all fine and dandy. Yeah, it all looks good. The next tests, all this stuff, that is all done. Effectively, the retests were strong. The bullish back test, the weekly open were awesome. Nice little flip of level. We talked about this yesterday in the Discord. And it looks good. It looks attractive. It's done everything we want to do. Now we're back at the inflection point, which was the previous high time frame resistance, the 72.9. So here's where we start either flagging out the continuation. If we do start breaking back down, we want to see Q2 revisited, followed by a restabilization back towards 70K. If that's lost. For the time being, yes, we want the markets to settle. Everything is like in that euphoric pump. I hope everyone was able to get something out of this, at least sell a little bit in case we have a deeper correction now. But for the time being, it looks very, very bullish. The new all-time, or the previous all-time high, 73.8, is destroyed. We want to see some nice price action in this zone. The more bullish we react to this area, the better. If we, like I said, if we start stabilizing here, I'm still expecting us to break back down at some point, but I'm not going to effectively try and short it until we break that outside of the smaller, lower time frame covers that we got at the highs. But yeah, for the time being, it looks attractive. It looks strong. Just looking over at some liquidity and liquidation stuff currently. Pop that on and pop these off. So the old short liquidity is still in place. We've taken the vast majority of it. There is still quite a bit above us, so there's still those those lower leverage, larger positions have been around for a while. The CME still has massive amounts of short positions from leverage traders there as well. That liquidity dead zone did not play out at all. Like the euphoric pump blew through it entirely. The high leverage short liquidity blew through it entirely. Regaining 70K to test the upside liquidity. That played out perfectly. We didn't lose 67.2. We got some bullish back tests. The high leverage stuff below us right now, it looks good only if we start breaking levels. But for the time being, you are trending up still. You didn't lose the lows that matter. You didn't sweep the high leverage liquidity that would have broken us down. So for the time being, from the liquidation side, it looks very attractive. I would say that if we do at any point now start breaking the lows, the higher lows that we just did, it should also sweep these lows and we'll get a complete capitulation down to the low 60s. Again, don't count on it for now. It looks good, looks attractive. And then finally looking over at the volume in this zone. So in general, still very, very bullish volume. We're seeing some sell pressure stepping in just in the last, 4-hour period. The low volume zone played out. We've had price move exacerbated through it, especially with the euphoria of Trump winning. The bearish volume was in control. Bullish volume stepped in very, very hard, as we saw yesterday. So this is all looking attractive across the board. We've got a nice level here, 72.4 with the volume area, as well as 72.9. So it can hold support here locally. That would be the most bullish potential hold that it could possibly have. But for the time being, you're gaining levels, not losing them. That euphoric pump is great. Hope some people got some offload just because we did have a pretty significant pullback since then. Wait for the markets to stabilize. This is not, if you're not already in profit in these upside moves, this is the time to step back and say, okay, how is the market going to react in the next couple of days? How's the market going to react tomorrow with the federal interest rate decision? And there's a lot of uncertainty with it. So for the time being, play it safe, wait for the markets to stabilize if you're not in position. If you're looking for something, look for failures that break us back below key price action structure levels before pressing any wild buttons. That's the number one thing, right? Don't start smashing buttons until we actually have a confirmed failure. So we're still at this high time frame resistance. We saw some rejection. Say it one more time. You wait for failures. That resistance right now is the potential support. So we're seeing that SR flip. If we see that loss, we want to see Q2 tested, potentially held all the way back down towards November, and then lots of support down here around the 70K zone. So for the time being, it's bullish. It looks awesome. We'll wait for all the dust to settle, especially in the US, and watch for external, other markets, especially the Asia session, to actively combat the dollar right now. That's at least my thing. The big thing too is bonds have been absolutely soaring, so there's probably going to be some early market pressure from the Asia session to push stuff down. We're not out of the volatility yet. It's still to be expected until proven otherwise. Until then, enjoy the run, enjoy the ride. And for the people who are watching other alts and stuff like that, just keep an eye on the big one, right? Look at dominance. It's not just a Bitcoin driven move, right? We're also seeing DeFi moving. We're seeing others moving. We're seeing ETH moving. And that's all fine. That's great. Keep that in mind. Watch the markets, and I will catch you later. Peace.